Sir Nigel Bickleworth. Cheers, cheers! On 2 Point Radio. A university is not something that one simply opens, like a savings account or a jar of pickles. Any self-respecting academic institution was doubtlessly opened long ago by dignified people who wore bowler hats and spoke via subtitle. The world is a creation of the past, and it is our job to keep it all going and try not to touch anything. Hello, hello. Today we're discussing for the very first time, ironically, sequels. Yes, that's right, when the wicked and wretched behind something decide that it's a good idea to bless us all once again with the second pressing of their already tenuous idea. Sequelization, or the art of doing something again, is derived from the Greek word sequalid, meaning lazy, repetitive, or in some way redundant. It would seem that the ancients are trying to tell you something, ambitionless auteurs of our times. Sequelization, or the art of doing something again. Wait, no, we've covered that already. See what I did there? I almost repeated myself and then decided not to. It is possible. Up next, something fresh. Repetition seems to me to be at the heart of all of our cultural and social failings. Oh, what comfort you all seem to take in your cookie-cutter days. Another weekend, another roach burger, another glorified re-release at the picture theatre. Come on, people, go out there and live! Join me tomorrow on 2 Point Radio, where I'll be talking about my collection of ceramic vowels. Many of you are getting in touch about one particular sequel. Yes, the follow-up to Mr. Cushion's positively poisonous production, Perilous Spandex. The only thing hazardous about that particular picture is watching it. The sequel, entitled Perilous Spandex 2, The Handles of Love, received the coveted Piece of Garbage Award. A little award that I bestow to highlight, as a public service announcement really, those films most bereft of value in our county's rich tradition of abominable filmmaking. This has been exhausting. We shan't be doing it again, because unlike all you reproduction-peddling, washed-up, rehashed monkeys, we, at 2 Point Radio, know when to stop. And that's the show. Of course, this has all been delivered to you with one rather heavy caveat. If I were ever to be involved in a second rendition of anything, I can be certain in telling you that it would be for good reason, and, if anything, would surely be a bigger, better, Bickleworthier version of what had come before it. How was that? Is that right? Sir Nigel Bickleworth on 2 Point Radio. I hear that another university has opened its doors to the aspiring bookworms and lab rats of 2 Point County. Listeners may remember that I don't like new universities because they're not old and therefore not any good. If they were, they'd have opened a long time ago. That's called logic, students, though I don't suppose you'd know. Welcome back. I can't say that I understand our county's recent fascination with opening pop-up universities on a weekly basis, but it seems appropriate to commemorate the opening of yet another fun-time house of real good learning. I thought we'd talk about the past, memories, and nostalgia. The feelings that things used to be in some incalculable and all-encompassing sense better. But why do we feel that way? Are we wearing rose-tinted glasses? Perhaps. Did everything used to be better? Probably. I used to love taking the train, the steam, the crisp sandwiches, watching people's luggage fall. Oh, those were the days. Sadly, I now find the experience of using our county's rail services is missing one rather vital component. I find that everyone seems all too engrossed by their mobile phones. Now, I have no interest in talking to anyone, but what I did like was ignoring people. It's just no fun if they do it for you. I was recently stolen back to the days of my youth. Yes, after inadvertently trapping myself in the airing cupboard, what did I come across but my old wooden tennis clogs? It had been too long since I thought about my days on the university tennis team. It was said that the mere sound of our carved shoes were enough to cause eruptions of rosy cheeks and giggling on campus, although some believed that it had something to do with our shorts. Whatever happened to wooden tennis shoes anyway? The visual spectacle of tennis used to be accompanied by a positive symphony, a sound like a company of coconuts dancing on a ballroom floor. Only wooden tennis clogs can produce such an enchanting auditory experience. But what do they wear now? Ghastly, squeaky things. And for what? Added grip? Light weight? It's practically cheating. The rise of the synthetic shoe is not confined to the tennis court, sadly. I'm sure many long-time listeners know that I visit Confetto's Cobblers once a year and treat myself to a pair of brogues or loafers if I'm feeling scandalous. On my most recent visit, however, I was horrified to find that my dear cobbler had been replaced with an establishment by the name of the Shoe Zoo. But can one truly describe their collection of footwear as a menagerie without possessing a single pair of brogues? I think not. Remember the start of the show? Remember when we were going to talk about nostalgia? Oh, what a paradise it seems. And yet, here we stand, talking about training shoes. Another vision gone awry over the savage passing of time. How fitting. How dreadfully sad. Things used to be better, dear listeners. How can you know for sure? Well, my show is over. They can't be getting better, can they? Welcome to 2 Point Radio, where it's a great day. Why? Because I, Sir Nigel Bickleworth, am talking into a microphone. Can you feel it? Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Really, Dennis, if this is off again, I'm going to come in there and dunk you like a biscuit. We'll check that I'm on the air and be back with more sumptuous soundwave salaciousness after this. Why is it that the youth of today believe they can churn out a radio show from the comfort of their toilet seats? The gall! In my day, one had to work for years, making sandwiches and polishing the communication tower before they even let you touch a microphone. There's more to radio than ability, charm, and technological literacy. Eager little autodidacts, the lot of them. My darling, albeit slack-jawed, nephew Kevin ushered me through cyberspace and into the world of video games. Yes, I played the latest entry in the popular Meat Wizard franchise for Sir Nigel Reviews. I was lost. I was cold. I was scared. The controller was sticky and the subject matter obscene. While I'm unsurprised that it appeals to the desensitized youth of today, I'll tell you what I told that chap in the deli. No one needs that much ham. 1 magical gem out of a possible 5. To the news and the controversies surrounding Education Minister Tarquin Foxbridge, who allegedly blew his nose on official government documents. Stories like this are scandalous. It's perfectly clear to me that a group of students have fabricated the images somehow, and yet this poor minister faces all manner of backlash and public murmurings. And why? Because he was photographed doing something? I know a witch hunt when I see one. It tends to be a one-way affair, this relationship of ours, and that's how it should be. What do you know about radio, after all? Almost nothing, I'd imagine. Still, it's time for that rare occasion where we put you, the listener, at the center of things. I am the aunt to ease your agony, the balm to abate what bites you, the A to all your cues. I am listening. Oh, And we're out of time. We'll get to your problems after this, all right? All right. It's time for Agony Answers with me, Sir Nigel Bickleworth. This week's problem is from student Felony Bogdropper, who writes, I've got loads of work but can't concentrate with all the noise in my flat. Well, Felony, I advise that you try a change of scenery. Work in the study. Write in the billiard room, mill about in the converted mill, why, read in the scullery. Your home is your castle. Utilize all of its many, many nooks and crannies. That's what got me through the hard times. Do you like what you hear? Of course you do. So why not call in and let our producers know? Recent research suggests that over 97% of our listeners are incidental. That is, hearing by accident rather than intent. Collateral Johnnies, if you will. Nevertheless, I have faith that each radio segment, like a juicy needle in a haystack of filth, is found by someone, somewhere. Well done to you, today's deliberate listener. Greetings, and welcome to the show. We all have our passion projects, don't we? Our dreams, our hobbies, our oddly job-like hobbies and odd jobbies. Personally, I moonlight as a writer of mysteries. Up next, I'll be taking you to a black and white world of mystery and intrigue. The much-anticipated return of Inspector Blandry in Pinched Puddings and Just Desserts.
It was a summery kind of summer, and Blandry had scarcely caught his breath, fresh after outsmarting the smuggly cat burglar, when an invitation to tea dove inauspiciously through his letterbox. Such are the demands on a world-class detective and conversationalist.
No rest for a world-class detective and conversationalist.
Arriving at Flackley House, our inspector was met with two familiar smells. One promised scones, the other, calamity. And so to tea, where the sandwiches came and went without the intervention of evil, though Blandry feared the host had been a little overzealous with the cucumber, when, quite of a sudden, the lights went out.
No, sorry, I'm always doing that.
The light came up, and Blandry began to doubt himself. Perhaps what he felt was nothing but a herring of red. Alas.
The trifle! The trifle! They've stolen the trifle!
We interrupt our mystery for the news. Hogsport Lighthouse gone missing. Student strikes cause university closure. And mayor threatens to triple taxes. Lovely. Now that's done, we can return to the matter at hand. Will Inspector Blandry crack the case? Wouldn't you like to know?
But who would do such a thing? Who would stoop to the lowly heights populated only by reprobates and trifle thieves?
To the kitchen!
Indeed, the trifle was gone without so much as a trace. However, in its place was a single white glove.
Why, a glove? The fiend must have removed it in the excitement. What good is a glove, dear Blandry? A glove is no pudding. Ah, but it may yet lead us to pudding. Fetch the Hans!
They followed the jolly hounds through the grounds, the crunch of the gravel building to a crescendo of narrative tension, and then to grass and sight of the lake and the old willow, where, sitting against the weeping tree, they found the gloveless culprit. None other than Foggleton, the butler.
Oh, Foggleton! How could you? I'm fired, aren't I? I should think so, yes.
Ha! As they say, the butler did it. It just goes to show you never can trust the help. Well, that's another masterpiece in the collection. But how do I do it? Really, it's a deliciously delicate balance of extreme talent and profound humility. Join me again tomorrow for more criminally underrated radio. Ta-ta! Sir Nigel Bickleworth on 2 Point Radio. Salutations and congratulations on your exquisite taste. You are tuning in for the peak of sophistication on our county's airwaves, Sir Nigel Bickleworth on 2 Point Radio. But of course, you already knew that. It's time for Sir Nigel Reviews, and thanks to the enlightening intervention of our wonderful producers, you, the audience, have chosen the object of our desires this week. The public's collective wisdom has entrusted me with hog logs. I'm told a popular choice of breakfast cereal. Let's get this over with, shall we? Interesting. Interesting. It almost tastes like pork scratchings. Ooh! Apologies for the abrupt end to our last segment. I've had a quick rinse and can commence with our review. The border of sweet and savoury is, for some perverse reason, the fashion in fine dining circles, so I suppose it only makes sense that this would trickle down, in some form, to the food of the layperson. Congratulations to you, the common people, for joining in on this most foul of fads. Nigel Bickleworth, your friend over the frequencies. I tried to get this next song pulled from the station, but alas, what can one do? Well, I can play it with the disclaimer that you shouldn't enjoy it, and you won't enjoy it. Here you are, some musical tripe, only on 2 Point Radio. It's time to spill the tea with Nigel B. Nigel B? Who wrote that? Who wrote it? Have them fired, all right? Today I'm hearing that a production assistant at a certain radio station is getting the sack. Scandalous, I know, but you didn't hear it from me. It may come as a shock, but in my formative years, I went through a gothic phase. I know, it's hard to imagine, but to a young and impressionable Bickleworth, there was nothing more exciting than a flying buttress. And the gargoyles, so pensive, so lugubrious, so stony. Of course, I'd come to my senses and learn to love the provocative opulence and theatricism of the Baroque. We live and we learn. Call me Auntie Bickleworth because it's time for Agony Answers. Today's anguish comes from Patronised in Pebbly. My elder sister talks down to me. It's like we're still kids. How can I get her to take me seriously? Oh no, how dreadful. What a very serious and adult problem you have. My advice, grow up. And of course, tune in again next time. Ta-ta! Forget what you are doing and give in to the saccharine melodies of my voice. I am Sir Nigel Bickleworth, and you may not know it, but you've just made a wonderful decision. The finest radio show in town, coming right up. This week on Sir Nigel Reviews, we'll be talking about a modern beat combo, a group that call themselves the Helium Baboons. I must admit, while it may not be my usual cup of beef tea, for contemporary mindlessness, and that's what this is, it was not as bad as most of today's dirge and drivel. Helium Baboons, not as bad as I feared they would be. 2 shrugs out of a possible 5. It's time for Spill the Tea, where we take some finely dried hearsay from our shameless county and strain it for all the precious nectar we can. Education Minister Tarquin Foxbridge is under scrutiny for describing 2 Point's youth as ambitionless nitwits, and I can see why. I can only hope that it's an abridged form of the full quotation. It would be remiss of him to forget that they are also loud, foolhardy, crass, smelly, and generally hopeless. And now, for the results of last week's sonnet writing competition. I must say I was appalled, if not surprised. They were lacking structure, they were lacking soul. Some of you wouldn't know an iamb from a dactyl. We'll be rolling the competition on to next week, so send in your sonnets. They can't get any worse. My respect for those that choose chivalric and knightly pursuits. Well, it's really very large. The Bickleworths, after all, come from a rich and prestigious line of people on and near horses. That being said, feudal aristocracy use their hands far too much for my liking. The swordsmanship, the adventuring. Have you ever held a lance? It's a chore. If you're so important, why are you doing all that work? Rule smarter, not harder. It seems that Agatha Sphere and the Orb Foundation are targeting the county's colleges in an attempt to appeal to a younger demographic. Those orb-happy loons must be subdued at all cost. But wasting their time trying to brainwash our brainless students seems like a terrific diversion. I'm so glad we found a use for our horde of unwashed undergraduates. And now for the segment we call Agony Answers. You provide the agony and I'll provide the answers. This week's problem is from Helpless in Hogsport. I'm stuck in my bathroom. I think the doorknob fell off. What should I do? Well, I'd start by contacting someone under less anonymous circumstances. Perhaps a friend or the local authorities. Best of luck and so on. It's me, Sir Nigel Bickleworth, the voice coming out of your radio here on 2 Point Radio. Isn't it a beautiful day in this little county of ours? Not that I'd know, of course. No windows in the old recording booth. And while I have made several written requests to our management, this is actually just the way I like it. If it's quite all right with you, I'd like to discuss crockery. Any objections? No? Delightful. Yes, I don't know who needs to hear this. I'd imagine it's most of you, but plating is not optional. When you slop food onto a tray, you turn your food into slop. Remember, we eat with our eyes. Though I'm sure some of you will take that as an instruction to start shoveling chowder into your sockets. It's time for Agony Answers, where I solve one of your tiny little problems with minimal effort. The following is from Forlorn in Freshley. Nigel, the other day I accidentally left my dissertation on the bus. Could you please spread the word and see if I can get it back? Thanks in advance. Well, this is what you get for riding the bus. As for your request, I'd love to help you, I really would. But if I did, how would you learn? You see my dilemma? Sir Nigel Bickleworth laughing at you, not with you, on 2 Point Radio. We can all do with an occasional chuckle. It keeps the blood fizzy and the vitals convivial. So I present to you this next piece of music that is sure to give us all a good, long laugh. Oh, sorry. Wasn't that terrible? I needed that. On the subject of laughing, and indeed needing, I see that many of our county's students are petitioning for additional reading materials. Frankly, I find it very funny. If you didn't already possess all of the course materials, why would you start the course? How bizarre. Today on Sir Nigel Reviews, I was faced with the formidable task of critiquing the inventively named chewy gum. Yes, I am tasked with assessing the various merits and shortcomings of this interminable taffy. I like a jaunt and a jape as much as the next fellow, but I draw the line at such chewy vulgarity as this. Chewy gum. Thanks, but no thanks. We're approaching the twilight of today's radio voyage. If you're just tuning in, then I am sorry. But like ships in the night, we pass for only the briefest of nautical moments. Perhaps we'll meet again in some distant port. Perhaps you'll get your act together and tune in earlier tomorrow. Who knows? I've been Captain Bickleworth, righting ships, dropping anchors, and running out of sailor talk on 2 Point Radio. Ahoy! Many of our county's finest treasures lay buried beneath the earth. But why is that? Did the people of the past live deep beneath sea level? Or did they simply hide all of their wonderful possessions to try and keep them out of our greedy, grubby, jam-soaked midst? I suppose that's for the historians and the archaeologists to decide. At the dawn of space travel, the days were long and the nights were dark and pointless, a bit like space itself. By the end, blind perseverance had won out against physics and common sense. But now I hear they're doing it all again. For shame! The county will never develop if we insist on rehashing old homework and passing it off as progress. There, I said it.
And so, Inspector Blandry found himself shook with shock and wet of sock. Indeed, it had been raining something stupid. He took one last look about the place and swore never to be found in lifeless estate again.
Ah, another classic, if I do say so myself. But did you know that I based my latest mystery on a real place? Aha, yes, just awful. I didn't even change the name. What are they going to do? Nothing. Yes, certainly hope so. Surprise, surprise. Another band of peculiar pill pushers think it's a wise idea to build a medical facility on molten rock. Yes, you heard me correctly. That's molten rock, the active volcano. What does one prescribe for an eruption? Leeches? It certainly feels right. Still, won't it be a shame when the whole thing bursts into flames? Oh, to be a spy with a life full of espionage, aeroplane snacks, and covert dealings. It all sounds rather romantic, doesn't it? Yes, until you realize that our county's secret service is based in Blundergrad, 2 Point's most toilety city. And trust me, that's no secret.